boys and girls, welcome to Arts and Crafts at the library. Today we're going to be using peanut butter to make a pine cone bird feeder in honor of one of our most famous scientists, George Washington Carver. Here you can see a picture of him in his apron, probably performing a lot of experiments in his laboratory. George Washington Carver was a very famous botanist. Botany is the study of plants. And he made many discoveries using various plants like peanuts, the sweet potato, he used pecans, lots of other plants too, and he came up with many uses, very useful things that we still use today. And a lot of them ended up being medicines. He used the peanut to make paper and soap, like 300 different uses just for the peanut alone. He made molasses out of sweet potatoes. He came up with different types of glues and all different uses for these different plants. New discoveries that nobody had ever discovered before. So today, in honor of George Washington Carver, let's use some peanut butter to make a bird feeder with a pine cone. I've already started smearing a little bit of peanut butter on this pine cone, and what I did was I tied a piece of yarn to my pine cone, and I used a piece about maybe 3 feet or 4 feet long. You can get any kind of string or yarn that you have at home, and I just wrapped it around the top few spikes on my cone. And then I'm very careful though, because they are prickly. You want to be careful handling the pine cone. But then I pulled it tight and then just tied that yarn in a knot. So it doesn't have to be around the very top spike, but maybe the top 3 or 4. And I'm going to double my knot just to make sure it's sturdy. Oops. And then you can hang it from a tree once you have it covered in birdseed. So now I'm going to finish putting my peanut butter on the pine cone. And I'm just trying to get it on top of the different little edges here. And it doesn't have to be a ton of peanut butter. You don't need to make it real thick, and you can spread it around. Just enough to be kind of like the glue to hold the bird seed on. We're going to sprinkle that on in just a few minutes. But the peanut butter is a natural way to hold the bird seed on, which won't be harmful to the birds. You wouldn't want to use glue, because that wouldn't be good for them to ingest. They can eat a little bit of the peanut butter with the bird seed, and that'll be just fine. So I'm almost through going all the way around, and then I'm going to sprinkle the bird seed like sprinkling glitter on something. And I'm trying to make sure I get the pine cone spikes bottom and top, because I'm going to sprinkle the bird seed all throughout, up and down. All right, that might be enough. Get my yarn untangled, and I've got a little styrofoam tray here. I'm trying to recycle something like that. You could use a piece of paper or a paper plate. And this was a mushroom container, so I'm recycling that too, but I've got it filled with birdseed now. And so I'm going to just take my birdseed and sprinkle it on the peanut butter. And I've got this little tray underneath to catch it so it doesn't make a mess. And I'm going to put as much as will stick. So I'm just going to keep sprinkling and sprinkling from the top, and then I'm going to roll it around on its side. And then I'm even going to turn it over upside down a little bit so that the spikes that have peanut butter underneath will catch some bird seed as well. I think it looks kind of pretty. And there you have it. I'll hang this from a branch outside and watch to see if birds come. Now let me show you some books about George Washington Carver. I've got this one here, written by Linnea Bodish, and it's a nice, easy book. Tells lots of interesting information, though. Tells all about George Washington Carver's life, because it is a biography, and it tells right here that he made 300 discoveries using the peanut. And then here it shows him making speeches, and he went to Washington and spoke to Congress. He was telling them all kinds of things that would benefit agriculture and farming, and he really helped improve our farmers' production, helping them to grow more food and help to enrich. He taught them how to enrich the soil to help the food grow better. And here he had his picture on a stamp. He's a very famous scientist that helped so many people, and this book is an easy read. This one that I had standing up is also good. This one's by Joe S. Kittinger, and this one is a little bit harder to read, so maybe for a little bit older. And it's got some good photographs of George Washington Carver. Shows him working diligently with other scientists, and talks about him going to college. And here's one written by Michael Bergen, and this one's going to be a little bit harder. It's a juvenile level, but again, it tells all about George Washington Carver's life and gives a lot of information in this book. A lot of things I didn't even know about. One thing he did, he put himself through college, worked very hard, and then later when he was at a university and making so many discoveries that would help farmers, he actually put some of his experiments on a wagon, like a little laboratory on a wagon, and he'd go around to the farmers' farms, and he would be able to demonstrate some of his experiments right there on their farm, because he knew he needed to spread the information and get the information out to the farmers. And here's a good one, The Life of George Washington Carver by Stephen Krensky. And one more, The Little Plant Doctor, a story about George Washington Carver by Jean Marzallo. We've got some others too, so come to the library and check one out. Thanks for joining me today. Bye-bye.